Welcome. Truth Uncompromised Media Network presents Terra Reading with hosts Rhonda and Divinity. Take a journey with us and explore the possibilities, abilities, reality, and realms that reading can take you. Terra Reading will open your heart, feed your mind, and nourish your soul. Welcome to Terra Reading. All right, family. Welcome to tonight Terra Reading, brought to you by Truth Uncompromised Media Network. I am excited about our online book party tonight with author Morse Donaldson with the book When Europe Was Black. Morse was a guest last Thursday on Truth Uncompromised regular night, and we chopped it up. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the book tonight, have an open Q&A session, and we did have a contest going on as well with the 5 questions. So we're going to talk about that. Excerpts of the book, because I actually have some questions as well and comments. So I'm really looking forward to tonight. I am going to bring on Brother Morse, and this is going to be, the intent of tonight is to be very interactive, family. I know some of you have been hitting me up on Facebook telling me that you got the book and you're in the process of reading it. So now is your time, or your chance rather, to get in the queue. Press *1 to get in the queue, and you can interact with Brother Morse. So with that said, I am going to bring him on. Let me see here. Here we go. Greetings, brother. How are you?
Oh, I am superb. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you fine.
Wonderful. I am excellent. We've been having a ball.
I know. Mm-hmm. It's
going into another dimension, into a higher level of consciousness.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what we need.
Yes, yes.
Tell our story, not with this beastie trying to tell his story and lock our story out altogether. Erasing us out of existence. No way, Jose.
Absolutely. Well, I know I have, as I've been reading the book, I've been going through listing my questions. But before we get into that, we did have a sweepstakes, and I can't believe people chickened out. Nobody wanted to answer the questions. So I know I was surprised, but being kind of not surprised, I'm like, okay, either they were scared to answer or be wrong, or they didn't want to research the
people. We have so much fear in us, no self-confidence.
Yeah. So I'm going to go over the questions, and so I'll be the guinea pig. I'll answer them, and you could tell me yay, nay, and add a little extra where it's needed. So actually, Brother Mo gave the family an opportunity if they answered 5 of the questions, and they really revolved around, he had discussions on these questions before on his Facebook page, and then he literally answered all the questions on the show during the show as he was visiting us throughout the show. So the answers were already there. So I'm going to go over them. But if somebody would have answered all 5, they would have been the winner of his new book, When Europe Was Black. So I'm going to go over him. I'll be the guinea pig. Okay, who did 9/11 and why? I'm seeing that's a twofold. Of course, it was the Zionists, aka the fake ones, the fake Jews, and then the second part of that, I would say, it was the reptilians that was behind the whole thing. So that's my answer.
Okay. Oh. You want me to feed some input into that?
Absolutely. Each question feeds some input in it. Absolutely.
Okay. Now you remember the video that I put on to Facebook, and I sent you a copy in your email?
Yes. We're going to play that.
Very good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Remember the gentleman who was speaking to, and he said that he knew the people who would put the dynamite in the building and how they explained.
Yep.
Okay. It was a joint venture. See, what's happening is that this United Snakes is run by, of course, the Illuminati, and it's always the Jews and the Aryans together. That's the worst lethal mixture you can have anywhere in the universe, and we have that mixture here on the planet. That is what was happening with regards to the Second World War, with the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and the Bushes, and all their cohorts, which have spent trillions of dollars to set up Adolf Hitler's military-industrial empire for the purpose of destroying the Black World Order in Europe, from Rome all the way over to Russia. A white fellow taught me this by the name of Jordan Maxwell. They call it the destruction of the Romanov dynasty. Black people ruled Europe, as we know, for 45,000 years. And we express all that in the book. So actually, it was the Mossad are the ones that was behind it. See, what it is, they wanted to get over to the area of Iraq, which all that was known as the Persian Empire at one time. After the Persian Empire, it was the Anunnaki Empire, which they call Mesopotamia, Babylon, etc. With the Anunnaki, they left lots of uranium buried beneath the Gobi Desert. And of course, those temples, the temples of Babylon, and lots of statues and artifacts were over there, in addition to the oil that Iraq has. The American military-industrial complex wanted to get over there and take all of those possessions for itself. So that's why they did 9/11 and blamed it on Saddam Hussein. Madeleine Albright talks about how she was on Tavis Smiley's show, and she talks about how George Bush and Cheney called her 15 minutes apart to try to get her to say that Saddam Hussein had did 9/11. Also, Richard Clark, in his book, he lays the same thing out. They both called him, trying to get him to say that Saddam Hussein did 9/11. They were looking for an excuse to go attack Iraq. They don't care anything about the American people. The American people are humanoids to them, and they're not human. They're reptilian, shape-shifting humanoids. They're are the creation of the Dracos. Those are those albino reptilian humanoids. So yeah, they did 9/11, but also 9/11 has another significance. That is the birthday of the Christ, Yeshua 12.
Interesting.
Yeshua 12 was born 9/11/12 BC. There were three Christs here at the same time. He was the first of that Trinity. And the second Christ was a Yeshua 9. He was born 7 BC. And then you had Arahabi. Well, Arahabi was born 25 AD. But what happens is that Yeshua 12 and Yeshua 9 were, I will still say they are, because everybody's still alive. Everybody is inside the planet in the Agape and Shambhala. But there are avatars. Yeshua 9 and Yeshua 12, they are avatars. And avatars are beings who collect all of the cells that are born of the 1,043 beings that are born when we incarnate into the planet. An avatar has collected all of those different cells that they belong to. And together with those cells, it does the ascension, which kicks it off of the cycles of rebirth. So it doesn't have to worry about having to reincarnate upon the planet. But the Christ has already done all that. Is why it's the Christ being. In Kemet, we produce over 1 million Christ beings at the ninth dimensional level of existence. There are only 9 numbers. That 9, that 11, and that 12, which belongs to Yeshua, the Zionists did that so that they could snatch all the Christ energy off of the planet.
That makes sense.
Those Christ beings still live inside the planet in Agatha and Shambhala. What has happened is that with the United States working with these ETs, they've learned that there's more going on beneath the surface of the planet than there is going on the surface itself. Because you have ETs who are living beneath the surface of the planet who've been there for millions of years as a spacecraft civilization. And there's a network of spacecraft civilizations that fly their spaceships beneath the surface. They have exits that they can leave out of. They can also move to a higher dimension and fly directly through the stone and the granite. Go straight up into space and travel to different planets, different solar systems. Nobody's hanging around here. To the Jews themselves, they're earthbound demons.
Right.
And the Aryans, they can't go into deep space because they don't have the silicate and the crystal compound mixture in their physical structure. However, their parents, the Dracos, have taught them how to either fly with them so that they are in ships that have certain coating over it, I would say, that would enable them to go into into different solar systems. And this is what they're doing now. They're going to smaller star systems because the universe is 99% black. Well, these are all black people. What they're doing, they're creating genocide. And the same thing that they did in Avatar, that's what they're doing. Okay? That's what they're doing all over this galaxy. They have 25 different colonies where they are killing up the humans there, taking over the planet so they can have access to whatever resource the planet has. And that's what the Dracos do. You have a group of Nazi Aryans here who hate anything that's not white. And they start to live beneath the surface of the planet with the Dracos that created the Caucasian in their laboratories beneath the Caucasus Mountains, which is where they got the name from. So it's very important for them to destroy anything that is Christ-like and Christ-conscious. And that's where we come in. That's why we're their principal enemy, because we are the chosen children of the Supreme Being personality. And the slave experience that we had here in white racist America was our crucifixion. And now we are in the resurrection. You cannot crucify a Christ. A Christ is a ninth-dimensional being. Or they know you come at a Christ in an adversarial manner, all they have to do is move to another dimension where you can't see them, and then laugh at you on the other side of the room when they reappear. So a personal Christ is a God being. You can't crucify a Christ. What they don't want you to know is that what this book illustrates, the Christ beings, Yeshua 12 and Yeshua 9, they went into Europe with their families, and they set up the Gaul, the Merovingian dynasty. They set up the royal family in Gaul for the kingship and the queenship in Europe. And this is why they keep saying Christ died, Jesus Christ died on the cross. No, you can't kill a Christ being. They don't want you to know that those black folks went into Europe to Gaul. You remember the president of France? His name was what? Charles de Gaulle?
Yeah, Charles de Gaulle. That their airport
That's
is
right.
named that, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm.
That's right. Well, the Gauls were the black people in France before it became France. And they all had dreadlocks. They got these beautiful dreadlocks. The sisters wear locks, and they have coins that have the images of the male kings from Gaul. See, the same thing with the Normans. I know you have a lot of black people get uptight about using these so-called names. Well, we have Black and Johnson and Thomas and whatever. Those are names that black people created in Europe, in Britannia. Those symbols, those crescents, they're called.
Right, the coats of arms and all of that. Mm-hmm.
You have a crescent name. Those names are from black people. White people don't have anything to do with Europe. They only came in Europe 200 years. They only came into power in Europe 200 years ago when Napoleon won the revolution there. And then he went out murdering people all over the planet. That's what they do. And see, what happens, then they start putting their New World Order together, of course, with the Rothschild family, because it was Adam Weishaupt in Bavaria, Germany, 1776, that started to put what they call the Illuminati together. But we created all of the languages in Europe. The Caucasian could not read and could not write. They spent 6,000 years in those caves. When they came out of those caves, they couldn't read and write. That's why they're so brainwashed with what the Jews have labeled in the Bible in terms of a history. It's not a history book. It's a fairy tale book that the Jews made up, as well as a noble group from what they call the noblemen from Rome, which Arius Calpurnius Piso. Have you gotten to that part in the book yet?
Yeah, I'm just getting to that part now. So yeah, I'm not gonna blow it because I got my questions. But go ahead on.
So go ahead, yeah. But let me stop it. Well, you can ask some more questions, because I'll talk forever.
Okay. I think this is Brother Sean. Let me bring him on. Then we're gonna go to question 2.
Okay.
Greetings, beloved sister.
Greetings, brother. How are you tonight?
How right yourself? Greetings, Brother Moore.
Good.
Greetings, Sean. How are you tonight, brother man?
I'm doing well.
Is in the house.
Indeed it is.
Okay. Let me go to question number 2. And Brother Sean, you can answer if you want to as well. I decided to be the guinea pig since no one was brave enough to answer the trivia question. Do the people of Atlantis still exist, and where are they? I'm saying yes, and they're in the inner earth or Shambhala. So that's my answer.
Okay, I'll give you the correct answer. What do you say, Sean? You know?
I agree with her.
Okay. Now, where they are is in Antarctica. Obama has been there. Hillary Clinton has been there. John Kerry has been there. Trumpet has been there. A lot of folks have been there, and they have the archaeologists who've been there for 15 years digging up the various bodies that were frozen with the flood that transpired. Some of them were frozen instantly. Some of the megalithic animal figures still have food in their mouths. So they're beneath Antarctica and ultramodern spacecraft civilizations. The powers that be are holding up the disclosure of these beings because they're black people with an ultramodern spacecraft civilization, ultramodern technology, which is millions of years more advanced than anything that this Western civilization has or its reptilian allies have. They're they're the reason. Well, what they call the survivors of
Atlantis.
Okay. Atlantis is in Antarctica. See, Antarctica at one time, if you find the Piri Reis map, you see that Antarctica was on the equator at one time, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It was a pole shift which kicked it to its location presently. But beneath so that one can go into Antarctica. However, the powers that be, they have everything blocked off. They always go involved in they want to take over. But what has happened is that the United States military industrial complexes, secret space program, they have broken off from the regular United States military industrial complex, and they have joined the alliance with the Galactic Federation. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And with that alliance, they're working to destroy the reptilian humanoids who are beneath the surface of the planet. You will see in the book bodies of these 15 feet tall reptilian humanoids.
Yeah, I got to that part. Yep.
That they've dragged out of underground, where they have killed over 15,000 of them. Now, what's happening is that the reptilian humanoids, they have no love in their hearts whatsoever, even though that they made an alliance with the United States military industrial complex, and then the powers that be stole $11 trillion from the American people's money in those black budget projects, and they created underground worlds for themselves known as DUMBs, DUMBS, deep underground military bases. And in these DUMBs, they had at least 11 different levels. Once they created the 11 levels, the reptilians, they kicked them out and only gave them access to the top 4 levels. The Americans put up a stink about it because they were pissed that they would be treated like this. But see, the reptilians love the double cross. That's where the term comes from. And the Queen of England wears the double cross around her neck, and the Pope wears the double cross around his neck. And Joshua Jehovah, on the planet Nibiru, he has a cross on his right shoe and a cross on his left shoe. He's a chalk white albino reptilian, and the Bible is calling him God the Father. They're Dracos loving whiteness. They got pissed at Prime Creator because Prime Creator produced this as a black female creation. They wanted white male creation instead. 250 billion years ago, after Prime Creator had produced this creation 950 billion years ago. With the females first. Scientifically, everything that's born is always female first. Then transferred to male later down the line in the female's womb. So Prime Creator produced the females first, and sexual energy is the principal in this creation.
Yeah, so now you're getting into the next question, actually.
Well, let's go and do it.
Okay, because I'm not sure if I got that one right.
You know where the Atlanteans are. They still exist. They still exist. Yeah, and see, everybody's communicating with one another in terms of network of a family of light. We can communicate also, but we have to request their presence, and request to hang out, because they don't want to transgress the laws, what they call the divine law of one, where you don't transgress sovereignty of another nation, no matter how evil they are, unless you are requested to come and give some assistance. So they're hanging out with the brothers and sisters in the Gotham Shambhala. They're hanging out with the brothers and sisters in China, those 134 pyramids that were built beneath China by the brothers and sisters that came here from Uranus. The Shang dynasty, that's where you get Shanghai from as the capital.
Right.
Shang dynasty. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the third question is, it kind of goes into the feminine aspect of the creation. In addition to giving physical birth, what is the next most important function of the female sexual energy that benefits the entire universe? This one, this one was, I don't know if I got this one right. I thought orgasm. I don't know if I'm right, but and the only reason I gave that answer because that's like a very sacred and high energy. So I don't know if I'm right, but that's my answer.
Okay, that is. Anybody else? Does anyone else have anything to say?
I would say that it's the divine force that has the universe going.
Okay. Now, both of you are correct, and just for greater clarity, female sexual energy is what spins the galaxies in this universe. They spin the galaxies, they produce the balance, and the universe is healthy. The problem is that the sun projected rays here and bounced off rays from this planet to get a reading for the gods of Sirius B. And they were disappointed because the level was so low with regards to the balance of female sexual energy upon this planet. So they called for a female nuclear sexual explosion. So that there's not enough balanced female sexual energy going on with regards to this planet. And this what causes the galaxies to not spin correctly, and that jeopardizes the health of the overall universe. So a female sexual energy explosion was called more female sex, more female sex. See, the nuns block everything up. That's that insanity of the Caucasian wanting to do everything just from the mind or what they have been programmed to operate from. And so, therefore, sex becomes a taboo, sex becomes a bad thing. The nuns abstain from sexual involvement because they're following the Judeo-Christian concept from the Bible. And all that stuff in the Bible is completely false. Because it locks you down, it locks you up with their fairy tale as opposed to knowing the science of the creation. See, what happens is the fallen ones, they're not fallen angels, they're called fallen demons. They're the ones that went against Prime Creator 250 billion years ago, wanting a white male creation predicated upon the male physical concept and the square cube, as opposed to female sexual energy and the spiral curve. You get faster moving frequencies in a curve than you can get in a cube, a square cube. So what happens is that when you don't get this balance, when you get a lot of that same sex marriages and positive and negative will never turn on this electricity or your appliances in your house. It has to be a positive charge and a negative charge. It's that simple. But see, the perversity comes out of the fact that the reptilian Dracos, they do not have any females in their species. They're Hyperborean. You see the movie Enemy Mine with Lou Gossett Jr. and Dennis Quaid. Lou Gossett Jr. becomes pregnant after a certain period of time. And when he became pregnant, then you see all the feminine aspects of what he as a hermaphrodite became. The reptilians they lay eggs, just like the crocodiles and the snakes and the chicken.
Right.
The chicken is a reptile.
Right. We saw that in that series V too.
Well, yes, V. That's all those eggs they had up there. Yes, that's what the deal is.
Yep.
See,
Yep.
but they have no females. They're hermaphrodites, and they have no soul. So that's what came out in V. That's one of the principal reasons for taking V off, because it was that, okay, reptilians don't have a soul, and they were very proud of the fact that they don't have a soul. They said, you humans have a soul, so therefore you're emotional.
Right.
And we don't have a soul, so therefore we're superior. We're more logical. We're more rational.
Mm-hmm.
So they live for millions of years because they don't have a soul. So when they do perish, they're out of here forever. But what they do is they shapeshift and will take on younger bodies and then grow up in those bodies. They're already an adult, but they grow up in those bodies. So you get beings like the Queen of England, the royal families of Europe, the white royal families of Europe. They were interbred with the Draco reptilians to produce 13, what they call 13 bloodline families. And those 13 bloodline families is what set up the royal familyhood of Europe in terms of the white family side. Mm-hmm. On the black side, what happens is that Christ's daughter, Christ Shananda, his daughter Sarah, who incarnated in Ireland during the Neolithic period 45,000 years ago, to be able to set what the agenda would be with regards to the avatars, the lords of light, the Christ beings, the star makers, star masters, the game masters, and the higher dimensional beings intermarrying with the royal families in Europe to legitimize the divinity of this royal family shift. This goes on throughout the creation. It's a normal thing. Higher dimensional beings, let each one teach one. So they will incarnate on planets or fly to planets with their spacecraft, large craft, and take the smaller craft and fly all around the planet and mentor the humans on the planet. So you have a family of light. You have balance. You have consciousness. When the Dracos came in here, they put a net around the planet after they created the Ice Age 24,000 years ago, 9,500 BC. Then they put a net around the planet because that was the period where they thought it out, 9,500 BC. They thought the planet out, put the net around the planet. Net stands for Nuberian electrostatic transducers. So that electrostatic field would interfere with the spacecraft, and they couldn't land on the planet anymore and go around the planet and teach the humans. So they were locking us down for themselves. At the same time that they went out and they committed war on Mars and on the planet behind Mars, which is the asteroid belt now, but it was called Maldek. Black people know all of this history, and we don't know any of it because this is black history. This is our story which they have hidden. These stories are in the Gnostic writings that are locked down beneath the Vatican. They're locked down in the chambers beneath the Vatican. These stories that they documented in Kemet, the planet documents everything, so there's nothing that can be ever lost. That's why it's called the 12th Living Library. If you want to know anything, learn how to go into the Akashic Records. You can always use your mind and project yourself into these Akashic Records. Remote view these Akashic Records and learn anything you want to learn, so that nothing can be withheld from you. when you are functioning at your optimum level of capacity. We're not functioning at optimum level because what these same Dracos did, those the Anunnaki, they're the same beings, is that they disconnected the circuits of the 12-stranded DNA system that we have. The black creation is the only creation on the planet that has 12 strands of DNA in it. And they were disconnected. They're being reconnected now because we're in the resurrection. And as you sleep, the higher dimensional beings are going inside of your body and reconnecting your 12 strands of DNA. See, so Supreme Being, personality of Godhead, Sambo, selected us as its chosen children. So it's making sure that we are reconnected and that we do the resurrection. But at the same time, the game masters wanted to prove that our creation is so awesome that we could do all these things that we used to do once again, and we could walk around as the walking dead and yet still have the world to follow our lead.
Wow. Now, we're going to get... Oh, I'm sorry, Brother Mo. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go.
We're going to... Because I actually had a question on the Game Masters, but I'm not going to blow it. I want to get these last two questions in, and then we're going to dive into the excerpts from the book. And then those that are reading along with us, if you have a question or comment, press *1 to get in the queue. So the next question, number 4, is with regards to males, what is the greatest deterrent to themselves and to everyone else? I said the ego.
That's right.
Okay.
That's it. False ego.
Yep. Makes sense. That makes sense. And then the last question, what is the most important aspect of this planet? Whew, that one is tough. I personally can't even think of one thing, of course, beside melanin, but that's of the universe in general. So
yes.
I'm not really sure on that one.
Yeah, okay. I just told you that when I said planet is a living library. That's the most important aspect of this planet. She is the 12th living library in the entire universe. And 12 is always a trinity. 1 and 2 makes 3. So everything that happens on this planet is recorded in the Akashic record in indelible print, meaning that it cannot be erased. And everything that we do on this planet affects everything else that happens in this universe.
Yeah, that's pretty important. Gotcha.
Yes. Everyone in this universe knows our story that we have forgotten. We are the most popular human species in this entire universe. And see, this is what makes the reptilians envious. And it's not just this universe. The Galactic Federation governs over 1 million universes. Everybody knows who we are because those beings from those other universes, they have assisted in doing the genetic engineering which brought us to fruition 560 million years ago. They went out around the galaxy themselves collecting the best DNA and the best genes from all over the galaxy in order to put us together as a superhuman species. It was an awesome project. Everybody wanted to be involved in it. So that's what we are. We're that kind of loving family in regards to the creation, the family of light. The family of darkness, we don't have to worry about them. We don't have to talk about them anymore. They're like a tiny fragment of maggots in a gigantic ocean of blackberry juice.
Wow.
They're into
Wow. Well, I'll never forget that one again. That's the most important aspect of the planet is the Akashic record and the statement that you made that everybody in the universe is watching us. That
right.
hit me pretty hard. I didn't think of it in that aspect, but it makes a lot of sense, and it also makes sense why the fallen ones or the albino reptilians want this planet as well. Now that makes a lot of sense. Wow.
Oh yeah. Another.
Okay.
It's okay. 3 words will answer the entire reality of this situation, and those 3 words are against all odds. That's why we're so awesome. We've been able to. You see what they did last night in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, the Warriors.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But
got you.
They don't. They made the multi-billion-dollar corporations. They cannot make any money having white boys on a team of basketball players. And we remember when there was maybe just one brother out there.
Right. Right.
See, and they're about making money.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the NBA, they can all advertise their products, and Nike out there with this Nike symbol and everything.
Right.
We are multi-trillion-dollar money makers for these major corporations. And we do things out on those basketball courts that just blows their minds. I mean, they are insane. Because the energy is so fierce. Up and down upon that court, and just in the yelling and the screaming and the cheering from the audience, that builds energy. You can take that energy and cause all kinds of things to come to fruition.
Right.
That's where that thought and using energy with that thought is so powerful, because you take that thought and you add tremendous energy to it, which is vibratorial frequency. And you know what that does? That stimulates the ethers. That's how you create matter out of energy before it becomes matter, which is go through what? That black, fluffy stuff.
Yep.
But it's that energy behind the frequency behind the energy that already exists inside of the melanin, which exists everywhere. That carbon is the foundation of all existence. But then carbon is only crystallized melanin. The Caucasians doesn't know anything about melanin because they don't have it. They're afraid of it, and they begin to hate it instead of loving it. Because the personality with that Draco albino is to dominate and control all things. That's why they kill so much. They kill the animals. They kill humanoids, humans. They go to different solar systems, and they kill up the people there. White does not create. White destroys.
Right.
And Prime Creator is the creator. Wants you to be able to create things. So
right.
So you don't have to worry about them. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I loved in the book how you broke down, in essence, you broke down the formula for manifestation. And as you said, the glue for that is melanin. So that was you said like the glue or the sticky stuff. I thought that was just the most brilliant explanation that I had ever heard, and it made total sense. So I appreciated that. So my next excerpt or question that I wanted to ask, and you kind of brought it up, let's talk about these game masters.
Oh, my man.
Now, okay.
They're awesome.
Okay, so that was kind of deep for us, sister, because you had an excerpt in the book when you talked about the origins of the creation by Prime Creator states that this particular creation was being performed for the purpose of producing doctors, God scientists who could do the research for the purpose of discovering why the previous creations went awry. A repeated formula was to be used, commencing the holy trinity of the use of melanin, female sexual energy, and the spiral curve. So that part blew my mind right there, because it's not that Father, Son, Holy Ghost crap that they're teaching.
I know. They don't have any light. They can't teach this. They don't know this. That's why Stephen Hawking is still over there at Stanford University talking about one universe exists and calling the Big Bang. They have no knowledge. And they were able to trick the Caucasian to make the Caucasian think they had information. Because they were both created by reptilians, and they have an alliance with one another because this is what was arranged by the Liberon Federation. They were both created 6,000 years ago. What the Hebrew scribe created by Yahweh Jehovah, his brother Brahma, and his cabal on the planet Nibiru as it was coming into our solar system. And by the same token, the Dracos, which the Anunnaki come from, they come from the albino reptilian humanoid. They left out of Thuban and out of Alpha Draconis. They went into Orion. They stayed in Orion as a constellation for quite some time. And then from Orion, they went to inhabit the planet Nibiru, which belongs to Sirius B. Everything in this galaxy belongs to Sirius B, because as a supernova, Digitaria, when it imploded, it produced this galaxy. But it was born in the Andromeda galaxy. See, so we kept that going on in Kemet, whereby in order for you to graduate as an ascended master and as a Christ being, you had to go through what's known as the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant has nothing to do with what's talked about in the Bible, about some little box with or some agreement that God the Father, Jehovah, made with his chosen children, the children of Israel. No, the Ark of the Covenant, you had to prove your abilities. You couldn't get away with anything. Like you can't fake being a musician or a dancer or any kind of creative artist. You had to prove that you knew how to operate inside of the Ark of the Covenant. So you were in the pyramid school, and you had to arc yourself after you dematerialized your physical body, called morphogenetic transportation. You morph yourself from physical back to spirit energy. And then you transported yourself on an arc from this pyramid apex in Kemet all the way over to the center of the Andromeda galaxy. And then you had to take an artifact from the center of the Andromeda galaxy to prove that you were successful in the trip. Of course, your teacher went along with you, so you wouldn't get lost. But the teacher remained invisible. And then once you selected an artifact that you wanted to bring back as proof for your class exercise, That's when you dematerialize your physical body again, and then you arc back over to the pyramid from all the way to the center of another galaxy. That is awesome.
Yes, it is.
That is known as the Ark of the Covenant. And you got the poor brothers in Ethiopia giving their lives to stand around and monitor two stone tablets.
I see where you're going with that. Right. I see where you're going with that. And so that fake ark that they're guarding has nothing to do whatsoever what the real Ark of the Covenant really is. Very, very, very interesting.
All the other definitions. Angels are not people flying around no damn wings. Those are draconians. Angels are fleets of spaceships. And archangels are fleets of motherships. See, that's what I'm saying. They have no light. The Hebrew scribes, they have no light, so they did not know how to define these things that they had stolen out of Kemet. Because you have to realize they ran the northern part of Kemet for 100 years as the Hyksos. They double-crossed the brothers and sisters after we took them in, and they worked with the Assyrians, and they made the Assyrians a warlike people, which is where Syria is today, being bombed to smithereens, paying that karma back for what it has done to other people. The Assyrians are the ones that you see Ramesses holding by the hair, and he has his club in his right hand, bashing them to death. He's holding them by the hair, his left hand, and his club is in his right hand. Those are the Assyrian warmongers of antiquity. And today they're paying back that karma, and America is protecting so-called the Syrians. See.
Gotcha. So my question was, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mo.
No, you're coming off. It's cool.
Okay. My question, so I'm just getting in the part where we're talking about, you mentioned in the book about the game masters, and you start off talking about these, it appears these galactic group of folks, and then you kind of moved into the royalty of Europe, but for a second I want to get on the game masters from a galactic point of view, because as you were describing it, what came to my mind was the movie The Matrix, when the Oracle and the other game master man met up at the end, and they were resetting, quote, quote, resetting, because the Oracle had won that match, per se.
Yes.
And then they got together, and he said, okay, it's reset. We're going to have peace for, I forgot how many, I want to say he said 1,000 years. So as you started talking about these galactic game masters in the book, it put me in that mind. So who are the game masters?
Okay. The game masters are the brothers and sisters, because everything is male into female, other than prime creation. There's no gender whatsoever. And they designed the various civilizations for all of this creation. And this creation is magnanimous, as we say. There are 200 planets for every tiny grain of sand on this planet, and that's just in our universe itself. And there are more universes than there are tiny grains of sand in the entire state of California. You see how magnanimous this creation is. So that's why we know that the Hebrew scribes had no knowledge. They thought it was at the church, believing that the planet was flat. You went to the edge of it, you fell off, and nothing ever happened anywhere else but on this planet. And the sun traveled around the planet, and the Catholic Church would say the only way you can go to heaven would be able to go through the Catholic Church itself. all fairy tales have nothing real about any of it, and yet they're controlling billions of people still. However, the game masters, they produce the civilizations, and the way you sit down and play a game of cards or racquetball, that's how they play with civilizations.
Wow.
So, that's how also a game master can transport themselves into a civilization as a reality and appear to be a derelict, homeless person out on the street. Just so they can be observant as to how you as a human being are going to respond to this derelict on the street who may need your assistance. Is it going to be a service for self?
A service to others. Interesting.
That's always the principal foundation. So that's what a game master is, a being that has mastered these games of manipulating civilizations, playing civilizations off of one another, accelerating civilizations, seeing that civilizations are ruled by despots, taking that civilization into a time zone that will allow it to have a reality in terms of a future probability, which will be equal to the karma that it creates as a result of what it does. That no one ever judges. It lets you. The beast destroys itself. No one ever to destroy it and judge you. It just allows you to experience your own karma. And the because there's no set future, you have 20 different probabilities for every reality that you think is a future. Which probability will come to fruition? And you can manage all these things. These things are pliable. But nothing is ever said. It's all predicated upon love. See?
Indeed. Well, it's interesting because in the book you also kind of describe the makeup of a universe, and I'm particularly thinking about the graph that you had in the book of the nucleus. So you had like the circle within a circle within a circle within a circle, and then you get to the nucleus. And then you explain the different layers and how you get to a certain level, and that's when, matter comes into play and when time comes into play. And I thought that was brilliant.
Okay, yeah. So, but these things are thought into existence.
Yes.
By the young. See, the universes are thought into existence through the medium known as the absolutum. An absolutum will contain 100 billion universes, and it's shaped like an egg. That's why the Dogon are so blown away when they see those shapes which relate to the cosmic universe, because they know about the absolutums. The absolutums are what holds these universes. And there are hundreds of billions of absolutums, and each one has hundreds of billions of universes inside of it, which are thought into existence. The game masters, star makers, star masters, jet black beings whose task it is to think universes into existence. That is awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Christ turning a glass of water into wine. Oh, that's something big for the Caucasians because they have no knowledge. But nobody, a Christ being can create an entire city with their minds. Same thing with the time.
Very good.
So that's what that is. The universe, there are 7 bands. Once again, the 3, The third band from the skin is the only band that has time, space, and matter. So you're looking up into the sky doesn't mean anything, because you're only inside of a tiny band, the tiniest of the bands of the 7 bands that create a universe. If you cut it cross section, you cut it in cross section, you see those different layers, which are different portions of energy. Some energy moves at a very slow pace. Other energy moves at a rapid pace. But where density comes into existence is where the Christ creation comes into existence from prime creator subdividing itself, producing the Melchizedek order first, which is spiritual, and then subdividing the Melchizedek order, which is where Christ's order comes into existence, bringing density into the creation for the very first time. So that's where you get your physical matter coming out of spirit, and that same matter can transform itself through morphing itself back to pure energy and moving back into the spirit world. You go back and forth, back and forth. That's the importance of the Christ order. The trillions of Christ beings, they were all created as female first, and then the females thought the males into existence, but they work together so that you move from matter back to spirit, from spirit back to matter. The same thing with your life existence, dying the physical death, moving back into the spirit world and back into the ethers where you have your ethereal body. And then when you want to experience the paradisial heavenly experience, you want to incarnate into the physical world, because it's that sexual experience which takes you to the paradisial heavens. There's no heaven out in the sky. It's the sexual involvement, which when you orgasm, that is your paradise heaven. So you see how insane the nuns are?
Yeah.
When anybody saying some sex, it's a major task to incarnate in the physical body. You are the scientists that do all the calculating, trying to impulse beings to get together to have sex so that you can design yourself to insert yourself into the womb at the proper time.
Wow.
See, it's you as the scientist. You're always the scientist doing these things. But what happens is one will operate on a low level of frequency, incarnate the planet as 1,043 different beings, and then forget who you are. Sometimes a being will pass out here in the physical and have to turn right around again to want to be incarnated again, and come in here as just one being and also be in total confusion and operate on a very low level of frequency. You want to operate on the highest level of frequency possible. And that's the advantage of incarnating as a melanated being, because it is the jet black melanated beings that are the gatekeepers. You cannot come onto a planet without passing the gatekeepers. So that when that crazy Zionist Kissinger advocated killing 92% of the humans on the planet, starting with the black people first, his own people have to put him in check.
Right.
His own hierarchy to have to put him in check. Are you crazy? If you kill those niggas, then can nobody incarnate on the planet? They're the gatekeepers.
Right. Nobody can survive. Yep. That makes sense. So, I'm sorry, Brother Mo.
I'm just saying, we're the bomb.
That's sure. So I wanted to kind of move into now getting into the actual black nobility or the black royals in Europe. So we talked about this when you were here Thursday. And for those of you that are reading along with us, you know, out the gate, because on the cover is King James, and then like in the second or third page, you have Queen Mary, and he kind of gives the lineage breakdown and through marriage, and pretty much the story that the quote Caucasian Europeans are currently telling about Mary and King Henry. It was really a stolen story from the black nobility of the blacks in Europe. But so that part I kind of knew about a little bit, but what really, really got me when you jumped over to Italy and started talking. Yeah, let's get. I got a couple things I got to ask you about that, because I'm sitting there like, oh, really? So the Medici family.
The Medici family.
Okay,
the Medici.
Okay, the Medici. Okay, the Medici family. Very, very well known throughout history. Anytime I see that name, I think of Da Vinci, because I know that they financed Da Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci, but it kind of blew my mind that they are melanated.
These are great folks. And Google has them as all the white folks. The movies that Hollywood puts out, the documentaries, the drama of the Medici. See, they take our heroes and they superimpose their white images onto our story. And then we don't pay attention to it because, I don't know, that's that white shit, we say.
Right.
No.
Right.
The House of Medici, all those houses in Europe are black houses. The only white house is the house of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. It's that German Draco house. Okay? Everything else is black. And this is what, like I said, Sarah is very important. Sarah is Lady Scarborough. She lives on Alcyon. Alcyon is where what we call the Sirius star system, the central star system of this Milky Way galaxy, that it takes our solar system 26,000 years to pass around from one point to the next. So with Lady Scarborough incarnating into Ireland 24,000 years ago to set up the science during the period of Atlantis. See, all this connects. The city of Atlanta is inside of Atlantis. The city of Atlanta started in Terra. That's where the black creation was produced 560 million years ago as a superhuman species in the city of Atlanta. That same city of Atlanta was reproduced in Atlantis 250 million years ago, when Atlantis was created as a 5-stranded system. The last strands of it produced 25 million years ago. It is the brothers and sisters from Atlantis that produced Kemet and reproduced the pyramid from Atlantis as the pyramids of Giza. But the pyramids of Atlantis are 5 times as large as the pyramids of Giza. So Sirah is the adhesive for all of these connections. These divine gods and goddesses, they are forever working, putting things together. Nobody is sitting around doing that. Nobody is dead. They are eternal beings. And they have connections in so many different areas. In this Pleiadian structure, this is where the Christ beings come from, or what they call Hunab-Ku. Hunab-Ku is over by Sirius B, which is located very close to what they call Alcyon. Alcyon is the apex of this pyramidal structure that we are in with regards to our solar systems. The apex one is Alcyon as a solar system, and most of these solar systems have 3, 4, and 5 suns in them. So you know that albinos cannot be living on those planets. You have to be a tar baby black, melanated being to withstand 3, 4, and 5 suns shining down on you at the same time. You know about it? You get Alcyon at the apex. To the right of that pyramid, you get Merope. To the left of that pyramid, you get Maya. Back to the right side, you get Tejeta. Okay, go back over to the left side, you're getting Atlas. Back over to the right side again. See, these are the solar systems that are related to us, and we don't know anything about it. It was King Atlas who was the king of Atlantis, the last king of Atlantis before it was destroyed.
What's that king's name again, Brother Mo?
King Atlas.
King Atlas.
That's where you get the term Atlas from, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, yes. These things are significant. All the names that exist come out of us. This Caucasian couldn't read it, right?
Right. So my question, somebody recently, literally this weekend, we were able to see the stars. And so the person said to me, is the brightest star in the sky, is that Sirius?
That's
and
right.
if it is Sirius, is it A, B, or C? So I immediately said, I'm pretty sure that's Sirius. But what I don't know if it's Sirius A, B, or C.
What you're seeing, when you see those stars, you're seeing all three. You see a star system. Now, Sirius A is the largest.
Okay.
When you see a star system, you're seeing it from the perspective that you're seeing it. You're seeing everything that exists in that star system with regards to your visual perception. See, some of us
that's interesting.
I can see at a longer range. If you look at it through a magnifying glass, a telescope, that's another thing. Then you can see possibly Sirius A, and the scientists can see Sirius B, but they can't see Sirius C.
But the Dogons surely, because wasn't it the Dogons that told them that Sirius C existed?
Of course. See, that's where you get that's where you get your term, your ABCs from.
Oh man, I never thought of it like that. And is that where Disney got the term "If you wish upon a star"? That they were wishing upon the Sirius star for certain energies?
Everything comes from us. That's what happens. The Jews know about Sirius because that's the Nibiru travels around Sirius B. The planet Nibiru, it travels around Sirius B, and then because it belongs to Sirius B. Sirius is trying to help them out, getting them some new DNA, which they couldn't get from Orion for another million years. So they produced an anomaly, which kicked them into our solar system every 3,600 years.
Okay, that's what the 30. Okay.
But the albinos are double crossers. See, the guys on Sirius, they were hoping that they could use the Bureau as a postal service because they're 8 light years away from us. They were hoping that they could use the Bureau to bring messages from them all the way over here to our planet and then bring things back from our planet to them. But those albinos are deceitful double crossers. They use they're not. They lack love. They lack the heart chakra.
Right, the heart chakra. Yep. Which blocks them from the higher dimensions.
Yeah. They were kicked out of another universe and dumped here into our galaxy by beings that are more powerful than they are. They're known as disagreeables. They have no love. They want to fight, kill. Domination, control, enslave. That's their nature.
Right.
So that's what happened. They tricked these brothers and sisters who helped them. Now, when Akhenaten kicked the Jews out of Egypt in 1333 BC, the Syrians saw what was going on with regards to the Anunnaki planning to snatch the symbol of power from Akhenaten, which was his Uraeus, and Syria cut off all connection with Kemet immediately before it transpired. That was 1333 BC. And then it moved its energy and focus to the Dogon in Mali.
Oh, okay.
And then Mali exploded with all that gold and all that wisdom because Sirius left out of Kemet, where it had been for 50,000 years. And you get that even in Caucasian. Egypt is only 4,000 years old. See, that's the trouble with the Caucasian. They're only 6,000 years old, so they think everything is only happened after they were created. That's the arrogant ego. And then you got the scientists coming in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, then you got their own scientists and archaeologists coming on and then seeing the water markings on the base of the pyramids and the water marking on the base of the Sphinx. And they were saying, well, our science tells us that Egypt was a fertile territory and it was raining here. The last period of rain was at least 13,000 years ago. So the pyramids can't be any 4,000 years old, and the Jews could not have made them out of abundant straw.
Right.
They're the biggest liars in existence. They've done everything. Yeah. The Jesus Christ image was born in Jerusalem, in Bethlehem, whatever. Okay. And Joseph and Mary, what happens when you read what Arias Calpurnius Piso says in the book, the Piso family, who wrote at least, as he said, 60% of the Old Testament and 90% of the New Testament. And none of those characters exist. They're all fictitious characters. At the Calpurnius Piso, who was the father to Arias Calpurnius Piso, and the grandfather to Justin, Julius, Proclus, and Alexander, who were all Roman noblemen who spent 30 years putting that information together, which produced the Bible. It was all fictitious. Doing it for the purpose of giving support to the group which had moved itself up from the level of just being commoners to becoming the emperors of Rome. You know?
Got you. So just to clarify, because I had to keep rereading, and plus based on your visit with us last week, and when you talk about the fallen one, they're definitely not angels, as you stated. These were the demon beings that went against the divine feminine creation. They wanted a male creation, and they wanted white. So the universe gave them what they wanted, And so their melanin was stricken from them, and that's how they became albino, right?
Right,
okay.
Yeah.
And then they created. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What happened from there? After becoming albinos, what happened from there? Because the universe kept moving on them.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing is very important. It's very important. They became disembodied entities, so they had nothing. It would take 10,000 of them to make a tiny little physical structure.
Okay, that is a very important aspect. Okay. Got you. Very, very important.
And that's what they come for. That's what in order to retain that bloodline relationship on Nibiru, they created this order known as the Templars. And Lucifer conducted the order for 200,000 years. And from that order, Lucifer produced his two evil sons he talks about, which is Jehovah and Brahma.
Got you.
That in Israel today, they carry the flag of the Templar.
Mm-hmm.
The Roman Catholic Church used the Knights Templar, which is the Knights of the Temple of Solomon, as its military force to go around the planet killing people of color, particularly in North Africa, and stealing their land and stealing their resources until Saladin came on the scene. And Saladin is the one that put the sword to their behinds and slaughtered the Knights Templars, took all the land back that they had stolen for the Roman Catholic Church. They had already sent the artifacts, the gold and the precious stones and statues out of the North African area, put them onto ships and sent them back to the Roman Catholic Church. However, the Roman Catholic hierarchy, they were pissed at the fact that the Knights Templar lost the land which they had stolen and had to give it back to Saladin, who took it back because they knew that they had that land for themselves. And as a result of their losing the land, they put out an edict that the Knights Templars were to be killed on the spot. And that's when they took their leader, Jacques de Molay, and they burned Jacques de Molay on 1307 A.D. And that is why the Mossad shot JFK on 11/22, 33-degree parallel.
Wow. Now it's interesting that you bring up the Catholic Church, because that was one of the questions that I had for you, because as you're reading the book and you start going through the lineage of the Black nobles, and you talk about the conflicts, and you talk about the marriages between the nobles, as they crossed across nations to marry each other for the sake of power. But the Catholic Church was in the mix of that. So my question is, number one, the Catholic Church, that was also ruled by melanated popes, right?
Yeah, back and forth. See, you have to. What the true importance was the Eastern European Church, because in the Eastern European Church, all of the images of what you call the Madonna and Child are jet black images. Yep. From Isis and Horus. Western Europe is the only area that came up with those white images. They paid Michelangelo to paint the Sistine Chapel. He hated that. He didn't want to have to do that. He was a pagan. He was a a Protestant.
Mm-hmm.
And see, what happened, King Henry VIII took the same position, that no, Roman Catholic Church, you are not the only source by which one can move to the heavenly dimensions. So he set up the Protestant movement.
Mm-hmm.
That great struggle between King Henry VIII and the Roman Catholic Church. They call themselves banning him. So that I don't care. He set up his own Protestant movement, which is today is known as what? The Protestant.
The Protestant.
The Anglo-Saxon Protestants come from the Saxon Protestants.
Mm-hmm.
King Henry VIII, that was my boy. I love King Henry VIII.
So
what he did. Go ahead.
So I guess my other question is, so if it was like the black people or melanated people that was controlling everything, then that means that they instituted religion, or am I just missing something in that? Because I noticed.
Okay, the reptilians instituted religion, but you had those religious leaders who were not members of the Masonic secret society from Kemet to the Moors. See, the Moors were about becoming Christians. They had the science of cosmic and galactic reality, and they were running the Masonic order. That's why the royalties in Europe, they all wear the sash across their chest and the Masonic collar. That comes out of Atlantis. Doesn't come out. That's when you see Thoth. Thoth has his sash across his chest always. Called Thoth Tahuti or Hermes. See, that's where all that comes from. So they were just mimicking what we do by setting up their Masonic science, with the Jews coming in there with what they had learned from Pythagoras' 33-degree Masons, and mixing that together in order to produce a power system. But if you were not of the higher dimensional awareness in terms of your degrees, you were not the ones flying the spaceships beneath the surface of the planet. The Jews don't know anything about spaceships beneath the surface of the planet. When you see those spaceships and those Land Rovers and those submarines on the temple walls of Seti, which is Ramesses' father, they're there for a reason. We ran the planet of the spacecraft civilization for hundreds of millions of years, even on the third dimension, as well as running it on the fifth dimension. So that was the reality of the old world. And then you had beings who were here billions of years before that, but they were not beings who were generated from the planet. They were visitors, as ETs, coming in. If you remember, this creation is 950 billion years old. There's a lot of time and a lot of traveling, and yet all times are the same time. Just broke up into different segments.
Okay, that makes sense. So is it also fair to say that the black nobility that you speak of when Europe was black, they were also what is known as the Moors, which, if anybody that's, okay. So they're one and the same. The Moors are also the black nobility.
The Moors were the military and the security, okay? They're the ones who fought off the adversary, fought off those northern tribes. Everybody, I was looking at Alexander done today, okay? The movie Alexander. And they had the same problem, having to fight those northern tribes. those northern savages coming out of the caves, trying to come down into civilization in a warlike manner. In addition, they had what they call the Titans. The Titans are the giants. Okay? The Nephilim. The Nephilim were created by the Anunnaki as a security force to watch over us while the Anunnaki was away for its 3,600-year period.
Interesting. Very interesting.
That's all that's about. See, they were going to watch over the food supply while the Anunnaki were away, the Greeks called them the Titans because they have 2 rows of teeth. They're cannibals. They have 2 rows of teeth, and the Greeks were always having to fight these Titans, which were the Nephilims that had been produced by the Anunnaki, and they were all over ancient Babylon. That's why you find those giant skeletons that were dug up in Iraq. And those 39 feet tall Nephilim. And the United States being such a double crosser, NATO went in there with the United States military industrial complex, and the NATO nations, they were all supposed to share in the wealth that was found beneath the Gobi Desert sands. After the United States and its military industrial complex and the NATO forces, they all worked together to dig up those artifacts, and they dug up a gigantic Babylonian temple. And then the United States double-crossed them. They wouldn't share anything. The reptilians do not share.
Yeah. Yep. Yep, it's not in their nature.
And that's not their nature. Deutschland über alles. Okay? America for the Americans. They don't share anything. Nothing they're not going to share with us. We do whatever they have. They stole from us. Never share with those black Persians. Those Hindu Kush. Hindu Kush was those black Ethiopian Indians. It was Oliver Stone who did that movie. He used very few black Ethiopian Indians on those elephants. That's what's called Kush. Ethiopian India belongs to Ethiopia. Egypt is Ethiopia's oldest name.
Wow.
And I know the Black History, they touch on these aspects, okay, from an Afrocentric point of view. But they have to really make it clear. Make it very clear.
Yep. That's a good point. Now, the other thing, and family, if you want to join in or if you have any questions for Brother Morse, just press *1 to get in the queue. So the other thing that I noticed, I'm at the point now in the book where we're talking about how, and I'm going to try to pronounce the name right, is Medici family.
House of Medici.
Okay, the House of Medici. Oh, yeah. They were off the chain because I see you 917, sweetheart. I'm coming to you just a second. Their particular house. Now, what's interesting about them, it was saying that they started the banking system.
They started the Renaissance, the Italian Renaissance.
The Renaissance, absolutely, and the Italian Renaissance as well.
They were the bankers. They supported all the arts, the politicians. Some of them became popes. I mean, they were the family that touched on every aspect of what a civilization is all about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, go ahead, brother.
I'm saying that's where the Rothschilds were pissed because the black people ran all the banking systems throughout all of Europe.
And
Rothschilds were the Robin Hoods. They were hoods in Sherwood Forest, robbing everybody, robbing black people as they passed through the Sherwood Forest. But the House of Medici was the noble house in Italy that started the Italian Renaissance. See how rich our black history is in Europe?
Mm-hmm.
You can't let that pass. You can't let that go by. No, that's like letting everything that we did in Africa and in Egypt just fade away.
Right.
This was an extension of all of that because it all connected, and it all connected with Atlantis. Atlantis ran from Cuba all the way up to Britannia, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, all the way over to Normandy. That was all the original Atlantis.
Makes sense. And I'm going to go to 917, but basically the banking system that we know today is a derivative off of what they set up. So that I found that extremely interesting. Okay, let me go to 917. Here we go.
Hello?
Hello, 917, your line is open.
Hi, good evening to all. My question is about the Olmecs. Where do they fit in this whole thing?
That's a very good question.
And the Olmecs, another question to that is that did the Olmecs birth in the Mayas, or the Mayas and the Olmecs are the same people? That's my question.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, well, the Olmecs and the Mayans are the same people. See, the Mayans still exist. The Mayans have their own solar system with at least 30 planets and 5 suns. So nothing is lost. All that still exists. What has happened now? I'm glad you asked this question.
Yeah, that's a very good question.
United States military, industrial complexes, secret space program that is joining the alliance and is helping the Azerite guards kill up all these Dracos in these underground bases. The U.S. military, they run Hollywood. They have put out an ordinance and an edict that Hollywood is not to show the black ETs as only white people. Their standard for the black ETs are the heads of the Olmecs.
Oh.
That is the standard for the brothers and sisters in Atlantis that they have found for the spacecraft civilization, and that is the standard for the black people that the American military complex is dealing with as the ETs in 900 different nations. Because what happened is that they have a business agreement with 900 different ETs who project the blueprints of equipment that they need made into the crop circle in Salisbury, England. And because we have more resources than some of them on their planets, the secret space program engineers are photographing those crop circle blueprints and producing the parts that these ETs are needing for their equipment. And in exchange, these ETs pay them with technology. No, there's no money. Everything is free in the universe. There's no money issue. So there.
I was going to tell you that I remember years ago I was 5 years old. My grandmother. It was all about bartering. It was never money. From what I remember.
The Jews went in the money system. See, although there were coins, I'm talking in terms of it being turned into a corporation.
Right.
Wall Street, which continuation of ancient Babylon. That's what that bull represents on Wall Street.
Right.
The Moloch. Duke University.
And who was the Dirty Moors?
Who, dear?
Who was the Dirty Moors, or is it such thing as Dirty Moors?
That's a very good question too, sis.
I don't know the 30 Moors, but there are so many Moors, so many, it's like so many different branches of the Moorish science. You have brothers and sisters in the Moorish religion who told Columbus, Cristobal Colon, where the people of color were, and took them to create all kinds of genocide upon melanated people. You have the Moors who told King Leopold, where the black people in the Congo were located. They wanted the military industrial machinery that the Europeans had been given from the Anunnaki, those rifles. So they went along with killing of black people just to get the technology. And then you have the same different types of Moors who worked with Cecil Rhodes coming out of England during the time of Queen Victoria. It was all that same period. And the Cecil Rhodes, there are images of him standing with his legs open wide, one foot in South Africa and the other foot into Egypt, going up the east coast of Africa. And that was all territories where the Queen Victoria said the sun shall never set upon the British Empire. See? But it was the African Moors who helped them to kill 150 million black people. And then you had the Moors who were the teachers and of the black people in Europe, initiating them into the Masonic science. And most of them were also coming out of what we call Morocco, the Morocco Treaty. It was the African Moors who defeated King George III in 1776 and set up the United States of America. It was the seven English presidents before George Washington, starting with John Hanson. See, that's another study we need to do. There's so many different aspects of the Moors. But when the Moors got involved in what Islam, then all of a sudden they pushed the females in the back. Because Islam has the females walking 5 paces behind the male and having the belief that they should serve their husbands and cover themselves up. That shit is insane. It's a female creation. You don't have those problems in Scandinavia with the Vikings, with the Swedish, the Danish, Norwegian, and the Finnish, because Scandinavia is run by females. The Palladians created the Scandinavia, but the Palladians created our bodies also. They went from the black to the white as white. So we're a bit confused. What it's called Babylon.
So is that why? That's why the Africans act the way they do towards Black American people today, or do the higher beings use them to come against us? When I say that, not physically, but with their black magic and things like that.
It's the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki is from the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is the hellish realm. The Inky was given Africa by the Anunnaki. Africa and North Africa, okay? Thoth, Hootie, I just learned recently, Tahuti, who created the pyramids in Kemet, he's the son of Enki. That's Thoth, coming here from Atlantis. He's the one who put the brothers and sisters in his spaceships from Atlantis and brought them to Kemet and settled the ascended masters, 65,000 of them, into Kemet. These brothers and sisters all live inside the planet, in Agatha and Shambhala. and they live everywhere because they travel. There are underground spacecraft cities, ultramodern cities, 40 miles beneath the surface of the planet, in Kemet, beneath the pyramids. But they were coming in from Atlantis. They were at sixth dimension and seventh dimensional level of consciousness. They couldn't run around those three-dimensional 3D humans, so they built their own ultramodern spacecraft civilizations and continue to fly their spaceships out beneath all the Gobi Desert, beneath Africa, around to the Red Sea, hit that Red Sea and shoot up into space. All this shit is going on constantly while folks are running around here, shooting bow and arrows. So it's not the your question. It's not the African being an adversary to us as a result of the higher being. It's the lower being, the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki. The fourth dimension is the hellish realms. You don't want to ever want to stop in the fourth dimension, but see, that's where they're getting you to come to when you're praying to go to heaven in these churches. The church is the greatest enemy to the black community in existence because they are controlled by the Anunnaki. And your desire to go to heaven is to go where those beings who from heaven came to earth and begot children of the daughters of man. Those are the Anunnaki. So you're praying to go to their dinner plate because they feed off of your astral body once your physical body is left here. You have your astral body, you have your ethereal body. So they're tricky. They're not going to run after you. They're going to con you into praying to come to them.
Right.
Come to their place. So the African's attitude toward the African American, not necessarily negative, it's the influence of that cassava, that starch that Dr. Sadie tells you. Don't eat that garbage. That's what the African has been programmed with, that starch, which breaks up their minds.
Right.
Who put them in that? It was the Anunnaki that put them on that cassava diet. See? They have land. The thing about the African Americans, we don't own anything here. We do, because we are the black, brown, and red. We're not just the African black. There's so many different colors of beings in Africa, but in the Americas, we are the African, or brought here, the red people, the red Native Americans here, the brown people here from South America. We are a mixture of all of that. And if you go to Colombia and Brazil, you see it to the max. The most beautiful people, the most beautiful black people on the planet. In African America, the African American female is the most stunning female in existence on this planet. That's why that Jew is running after her now. Okay? The Hebrew scribes are writing movies in Hollywood and TV shows that shows him having sex constantly with the sisters, because the same way they pay Beyonce $1 million to bleach her hair blonde, and then all those sisters is insanely crazy having their hair bleached blonde. The same brainwash is being used to get the sisters into the bed with the Caucasian, and the blonde-headed Caucasian doesn't want it. It's the Jew. Why is Serena all pregnant and knocked up by some white boy?
You're right.
Damn shame. It's more genetic survival on their part, Brother Mo?
Well, what it is that we've already been bombarded with a new frequency. The blue orbs are already here. Those are the higher dimensional beings. Our solar system is saturated with these brothers and sisters. These blue orbs are motherships the size of Jupiter. These are Can you imagine a spaceship the size of Jupiter? This is blowing away people's mind. But that's why the American Secret Space Program turn their focus to working with the Galactic Federation. And start seeing all these blue orbs come up in here, and the frequencies that we have from the avion, those ones with I have them in the book, the ones with the blue feathers on them, the little blue people with the blue feathers and that look like horrors. They keep the balance in the universe. They give the powers where it needs to be given to. So they've given the powers to the Galactic Federation to defeat the reptilians. The reptilians are always being defeated. They sneak back in to a place when there's a calamities that happens, okay? Major calamities, and here they come, trying to take advantage of what the little scraplings they could find as a result of the location having been victimized by a major catastrophe. So now we're outside of everybody who's outside of the solar system cannot get back in here. Everybody who is here, as those Dracos, are begging to be let out. They're telling on everybody. They're telling where the Illuminati are located on Mars. They're telling where they're hiding out.
Okay, I heard that. I wasn't sure if that was for sure that they trapped folks here and they can't get out, and they started snitching on each other.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They all on YouTube. Former Illuminati whistleblower has secrets about the Illuminati's plans. Oh yeah.
Wow. Well, just to clarify, excellent questions. Thank you for both of those questions, especially the one about the who are the dirty Moors, because that was actually one of my questions. So thank you for that. But I just want to. Okay, thank you, sis. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Okay, I wanted to clarify real quick, Brother Mo, when you said the OMAC, because that was an excellent question sis asked on how they fit into play. And we're going into overtime, family. Those of you that are joining us in the chat room, dial 929-477-3858 to continue, 929-477-3858. But when you talked about how the OMAC fit into it, I just want that to be clear. So are you saying that the OMAC came from their own particular solar system, the Mayans?
The OMACs are Mayans, okay? Now the Mayans, like human beings, you get different strands of them, different types of them. As like the Pleiadians say, as cosmically conscious as the Mayans are, they proved that they had no common sense because they were doing human sacrifice, chopping heads off and playing kickball with their heads. The Mayans, the Olmecs did not do any of that stuff. Okay? The Olmecs were beings that you see them with their space helmets on.
Yes. With their braids, with the beads on them, coming out the back of the helmet.
Those are brothers and sisters who were traveling in their spacecraft all over the solar system to the interior of the planet. Everybody's hanging out. It's like when you live in a state and you're conscious and you have access to be able to be mobile, you go everywhere. You live in places. You live in New York. You live in Chicago. You live in Paris. You live in Hawaii. You live in Cuba. You know, if you have access. But that's what we're mobile.
Got you. So were the OMACs, what solar system were the OMACs? Are the OMACs a part of the Sirius?
Just said Maya, darling. Maya. Maya's got their own solar system.
Okay. That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Okay.
If you got a solar system with 30 planets in it, you got beings that are all over the damn place coming to live on people's families. You know, people with spaceships. That's why you have spaceships. See, we don't conceive of those things here because we don't fly spaceships here. We're in jail. This is prison. We're locked down.
Right.
Everybody flies spaceships. So people fly from planet to planet, from solar system to solar system, from galaxy to galaxy. That's why they need those stargates. Go through those stargates to be able to take them to different galaxies.
Wow.
You travel through a wormhole, get you to another galaxy instantly, damn near. Okay.
Right. Okay. Go ahead, Brother Sean. I know I've been dominating, and because I know we're into overtime. So if you want to put something on it, Brother Sean.
Yeah, it's interesting that he just brought up Stargate, because the brother on there, Tilk, he looks just like one of those Olmec heads. They picked the right brother for it. I mean, his facial features and everything as if they made the Olmec head off of him.
Oh, you talk about that television series.
Yeah, Stargate.
Yeah, now that you say that, because I just started recently watching the reruns of that, and you're right. You would assume that the Olmecs were built like he is, because he's built pretty solid, but his face perfectly fits the Olmec heads. That's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Also,
the royal family of light.
Go ahead, Brother Sean.
Also, when you were talking about the Game Masters, as far as for everything that you were describing that they do, it sounds like they're the actual programmers, because they've set up and calculated every choice and every outcome coming from every possible scenario. I mean, it's like everything is scripted. It's like we're in the Truman Show.
Oh, yeah.
Hollywood is showing us. They're showing us that we're living scripted lives.
Because what makes it so interesting, to go with those scripts, you have probabilities. See? So there's no end, no one end to any script, because for every so-called future, you have maybe 10, 20 different probabilities.
Yeah, that's what makes interesting that you said that.
That's what makes it so interesting, because you can get involved and modify what you thought the outcome might be, and you bring it into fruition by your ability to demonstrate your own willpower. So you want to hang out with these brothers and sisters. You want to be able to implement the principles of cause and effect, and let my will be done. Know that I am a God. You set your own directions. You call things that they love all of this. Prime Creator loves all this, because you're not being a punk sitting around waiting for somebody to come and do it for you.
Right.
Exactly.
You're an active participant. That's why religion is so stupid, because they enslaved the humans to operate on a lowest level of consciousness. And then, how many times do you hear black people say, "Well, I'm going to just leave it in God's hands"?
Exactly.
That's the dumbest thing in existence. Prime Creator doesn't give a hoot about you. Prime Creator is as evil as Prime Creator is good. There's no punishment for being evil or being bad. And these demonic forces, they know these things. That's why they do what they do. They know there's no judgment, there's no punishment. Oh, God's going to punish you. All that stupid stuff that we go through, because we are too lazy and too afraid to be in the driver's seat. That's what the willpower you get. You want to call things into it, and there are all kinds of formulas. Like I say in the book, use the term abracadabra. Abracadabra means I create as I think.
Yep.
I create as I speak. We've had these things are hundreds of billions of years old. There's nothing new in the creation. Nothing new under the sun, as they say. It was these occasions, because then they came out of caves and coming up. There's a brother over here in Atlanta. I teach him on Saturdays, and he's teaching that black people came up as hunters and gatherers. And then when I come in the class, they want to say, "Oh, well, this is Mo. Now he's just way out there. He's way out there in space." No, nigga, I'm talking about what's going on this planet.
Right.
See,
Mm-hmm.
we don't need. It's not about outer space. It's about inner space.
Right.
And our
Your
people
paradise
spend
in
too much
heaven
time.
on your planet, on the interior of your planet. That's where the God beings, and they're called not son of God, but they're called sun gods because they live on suns, solarical beings.
Mm-hmm.
Start studying about beings who live on the suns. And the suns are very intelligent beings. That's where you can get all your intelligence from, sitting your butt out in the sun meditating.
Mm-hmm.
Because it communicates to you, directly to your. That's why do you have a solar plexus?
Mm-hmm.
You feel it before you. Then you got to think about what the feeling was all about.
Yep.
Exactly. And it was also interesting that you brought up 1,043 different lives simultaneously. 1,043 coming out to the number 8, which is
That's right. Double infinity.
Infinite loop, yeah.
And I'm born on January the 8th. Same day Noble Dwali is born on.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we come in here at 1,043 visible beings. It's perfect. The math and the geometry is perfect. We used to know it, but we got brainwashed with this beast belief system during the slavery period, and the Africans got brainwashed with the beast belief system after they met after they being King Leopold, Queen Victoria, and all those albino Draco offsprings. They met in Germany, in Berlin, in 1885. They all set up there and chopped up Africa and decided who's going to take what part. And then they went out and did the dirt to the continent of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And that was after we had already been enslaved here. Because by 1885, slavery was it's never over, but in terms of the legality of it, because when we got involved in that war, at that Civil War, it was the Lincoln that put together the first black military under white racist America. And those brothers, led by General Sherman, they took the city of Atlantis from the crackers. And what did they do? They burned it down to the ground, all across Georgia. All they burned it all down.
Yep.
And that cracker, I have that in one of my movies, one of my documentaries that I'm doing now on the mayor, the 5 mayors of Atlanta. The city of Atlanta is a divine name. It's where black people were created 560 million years ago. It was where the black people who were created 560 million years ago created Atlantis, and the city of Atlanta in Atlantis 560 million years ago. And that's what was found beneath Antarctica. The city of Atlanta, created by the black people in the city of Atlanta in Terra, from the Tyrannosaurian creation. And our story is awesome. But if we did it, the crack in Hollywood, they would buy it and then put it on the shelf so nobody could be able to see it. You can't depend upon them.
Right.
See?
Right.
You got to always have to outthink them, outsmart them. So what are we doing? We are interested in bringing the engineers in to create holographic inserts. Holographic inserts already exist on other planets. So you make that silver screen obsolete. The whole concept you make obsolete. You produce the holographic inserts with quantum vacuum technology so that the person walks into the movie and you're inside of it as opposed to sitting outside looking at it. That shit is awesome.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
You have to think like that. You always have to think like that. What can I do new? You know?
Right.
That's why I had to bring Benjamin Banneker in here to finish doing Washington, D.C. Yeah?
Makes sense.
Big Ben. That clock in England, what they call Big Ben. They named it after Benjamin Banneker.
Very interesting. Well, I do want to thank you, Brother Mo. It has been a very, very enlightening for me to read When Europe Was Black, and I'm still reading it. So we'll definitely, have you back.
Read over again.
Yeah, because I know you're going to have to come back because, again, I'm not done with it. I'm still reading it, and it's so rich with information as you talk about the black nobility, and but then you also kind of give the origins, the backdrop from a cosmic creation standpoint, kind of giving us the pieces to the puzzle, or to help us put the pieces together to the puzzle on why things are the way they are.
Yeah, that's what makes it so interesting. And see what happens. You get that arrogant ego from these Anglo-Saxons who have no knowledge and no education, and they're gonna read the book and try to criticize it, okay, and give you 1 star. Give you 1 star because he just does this. He jumps all over. He talks about creation 950 billion years ago and all that. This shit blows their minds. They can't. And all they have to do is read Ashana Dean's Voyager. She's the one who taught me about the 950 billion-year-old creation, and she's a white woman, a blonde-headed white woman. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, because the ETs taught her. She was American. Had the American bad guys that they work with. They put implants into her so they could control her because she was so brilliant. And the good guy ETs took the implants out of her, and they began to mentor her and teach her the correct information. So she wrote Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. And she breaks down the black creation on the 5th dimension and how black people were given 12 strands of DNA and the white people were only given 2 strands of DNA, and how it would take white people hundreds of thousands of years to get reincarnated, at least reincarnated for hundreds of thousands of times, she says, in order to have even to get a 4-stranded DNA system.
Right,
Go ahead.
No, I think that is interesting because I actually went on Amazon to rate the book myself, and I saw that particular comment, and the first thing that hit my mind, I said, well, they don't get it. They don't get that, we are in the particular age, we are in the vibrational energies that's hitting this planet where this information has to be released. And those that are resonating at a certain level, those that want to resonate at a higher realm level, that's who the information is going to, they're going to get it. I picked up that person simply could not even imagine the concept of pre-creation from what is typically taught, and they didn't, get that you're not only talking about the black nobility, but you're going back explaining this entire universe in general, how the deceit and deception happened. So, like I said, it's been a very, very rich experience reading the book, because I don't know where you're going next, especially with the Galactic side of the house. I have no idea where you're going, which is a good thing. So I'm truly, truly looking forward to that.
Yeah, see, here again, I started paying attention, and I have it in the video that I put up today, because I started paying attention every single day, 24/7. There's a commercial that comes on with the "Are we alone? Are we the only intelligent life form in this whole creation?" From the ignorant white people that don't know anything about this whole creation, but they use it as a propaganda tool to the matrix to keep the people locked into just the brainwash of never even to think about the possibility of anything else existing.
Right.
With all the involvement that the United States industrial complex has been having with these ETs ever since the 1930s. And the Germans had built spaceships in about 1937 from the Aldebarans, and they were flying back and forth to Mars and also to Venus. And you saw that white dude selling that tape in with Corey Hood being interviewed, that he himself has already been to Venus. And they were telling people, "Oh, Venus the surface is 400 degrees Fahrenheit." They're liars and deceivers. Yeah. They don't want you to know the truth, because when you go there, you're going to find what black people. Or a mixture of black and white people that get along with one another. That's where Nikola Tesla came here from Venus.
Now that's interesting. That's interesting.
But this was his next incarnation. He incarnated here from his incarnation on Venus, and he remembered the knowledge on Venus.
That's how he knew. That's how he knew the knowledge of which was way ahead of his time, and they purposely suppressed it because they knew what that type of knowledge would bring.
See, they realized they couldn't make any money from free energy. Everything is free universe.
Yeah.
These suckers would make money. They couldn't make any money with Nikola Tesla. The Zulus came here from Mars, and they keep all that secret. But then I talked to the Zulus in Africa.
Oh, the Zulus. Okay, of South Africa. Okay.
They came here from Mars.
Which would make sense why they are known as being great warriors.
Yeah, Mars, the red planet, the warlike planet, Mars, and all that. Yeah, all that's related.
Very, very interesting. Wow. Well, I want to thank you again, Brother Mo. Family, again, I encourage you to read along with us. It is When Europe Was Black. You can get it on Amazon, ebook. Keep checking Truth Uncompromised Facebook page. You can also check out Brother Morse's page, Sirius B3333. He gives updates on there as well. We're definitely going to have Brother Morse back, and I will also keep you updated on other activities that he's doing as well, because he's in the process. He's going to release some more books, as well as he has some film projects under his belt. So we will definitely have Brother Morris back. He will become a very familiar guests with the family.
Tell them, Rhonda, remember to tell them to start thinking about Shakespeare, a black female.
Yep. So that's the next one coming up about Shakespeare being a melanated or a black woman. So I'm like salivating at that. And then he's also re-releasing the update of Cosmic Gangster. And that's going to be about the feminine superheroes. So that's very timely too.
This is what they call Wonder Woman. Well, in Cosmic Gangster, we got 6 Wonder Women.
Right.
And they don't have to do all that crashing through walls. They walk through walls. See, this beast want to be violent on everything. And what we do in Cosmic Gangster is the reptilians, the systems are working in relationship to how we operate on Terra, on the 5th dimension level of Terra, where we can call things into existence from the air, condense the sun rays and transform them into anything we desire to have, walk through walls, fly without airplanes, fly without spaceships, fly while spaceship is flying, and sit on top of the spaceship while it's flying, and then leave off of it and fly around it, loop around it, and fly off to some other direction. These are the first things that we could do on this planet when we were created as superhuman species here, known as the Tarania. You see them. We have so much to work from. So you put your mind into what your story is. You don't have to think about this monster, because when you think about this monster, you give them your energy.
That's right.
See? We have so much wealth. So,
all right. Well, Brother Sean, did you have any last words for the family?
Remember, though, you have to go within to access the Akashic Records. I mean, no amount of information that's given to you is going to be pertinent if you don't know how to apply it to self.
That's right. That's right.
Indeed. They're there for just the asking.
Absolutely.
When you want something, ask it. The Word of God is speaking of what you desire verbally with authority. That is the Word of God.
Wow.
Christians going back over all these stupid sayings and don't know where to apply. They think that some God is going to speak a word to them. No, you are the God. You're prime creator. You speak the word. It's already proved scientifically that you can use sound to move 10 tons of granite rock, 50-ton granite rock, just with sound frequencies.
That's right. That's right. Well, okay then, Brother Morse, I want to thank you so much again for joining us. Thank you for allowing Terra Reading and the Truth Uncompromised Network to host your online book party. And most importantly, I want to thank you for this very, very important piece of work. I really appreciate it. This is, once again, bringing it back. Yeah, it's putting the pieces together. It's in a timely manner, and all of the history that was hidden is being revealed. And I definitely look at this particular book as one of those pieces. So I do want to thank you so much.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. You're joy.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Love you, brother. Peace and love. So, family, we're going to be back on Thursday on Truth Uncompromised at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we will be doing a show on the Divine Feminine. So I hope that you can join us, and I do want to thank you for joining us tonight for your support And don't forget to pick up a copy or download a copy of When Europe Was Black on Amazon on Kindle ebook. So with that said, we're going to sign off. And I love you very much. And peace and love, family.